Hello friends, and welcome to the Divine Well, or welcome back if you've been to my channel before. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video and supporting my channel, and hopefully in this reading today you are finding the messages that are meant to come to you. So in this reading we are going to be getting into the energy of your most recent breakup, or I guess whatever breakup you're kind of thinking about that's on your mind right now. So we will kind of get into a couple of these points. So overall, why did this breakup happen? First things first, I'm going to do an energy check to describe the end of the relationship so that you can know if you resonate with that energy or not. And then we'll get into why did this happen? What lesson were you meant to learn? Your role in the breakup, their role in the breakup, what you can do to restore yourself, and how you can prepare for your next relationship. So as always, I have my 3 piles here. I have already picked out all of the cards for the reading. So all you need to do is go ahead and sit with each pile and see which one resonates with you. So first things first, we have pile number 1 here, and with that we have the selenite. And then pile number 2, we have the clear quartz. And then pile number 3, and we have the citrine. So in a second, I will give you a moment to sit with the cards, sit with the energy, and kind of see which one you feel like is pulling you the most. Just remember, guys, that this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Also, too, if you feel like in the first couple cards of the energy check you're not resonating with the energy of that pile, that's probably a sign that this is not the reading for you. So go ahead and check out one of the different piles, or maybe even a different reading on my channel, and see if that reading resonates with you a little bit better. But I'll give you guys a few seconds here, just kind of sit with the piles, sit with the stones, and see which one resonates with you the most. And then you can check in the description box below for the timestamps, and just go ahead and shift that timestamp in the video, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1, and welcome to your reading. So as you can see, guys, I've already kind of had all the cards picked out before I started filming the video. So we're just gonna get into them and kind of see how these energies are kind of playing off of each other. So for this reading, this is, why did this breakup happen? So let me get into the energy check to start us off. And just remember that with this, if you're not feeling connected to the cards or resonating with the energy, like in the first couple of minutes of this reading, go ahead and check out another one of the piles or a different reading on my channel. But okay, let's get into it. So for the energy check, we're gonna kind of like describing the end of the relationship and why did the relationship between you and this person end. So we have daydreaming, head in the clouds, delusions, hopes and dreams, and we have the 8 of Cups here. And so the energy, or how I'm kind of reading this, is kind of like you've learned all, or you both, or one of you have learned all you needed to learn from this connection. Like, it's just, I think you guys kind of got to a point where it was just like, I don't really feel like this connection is filling me up. I don't really feel like I'm gaining anything from this. And I think that either one or both of you just kind of just started focusing and thinking about other things. Your mind was less focused on this person, this connection, and wanting to put energy into that, and more so just thinking about other things. So that could be like other aspects of your life, or maybe even like another person. It's possible that one or both of you like became interested in somebody else, and maybe just kind of started thinking about what would it be like to be with that person, or what would it be like to be with anyone other than this. I do get the sense that at one point this was a fulfilling relationship, and at one point it did make you and your partner both really happy, but over time, like that feeling just kind of wore off. I don't really get the sense that anything like super big or significant happened, as far as like, I don't think anybody like cheated on each other, or I don't think anybody was like super mean or super, like toxic. I don't get the sense that it was a very toxic breakup. I kind of just feel like these are two people who outgrew each other. So if, okay, now this dog is gonna do the most. 1 second, please. Hey, stop. Stop. Prince, stop. Prince, stop. Okay, sorry guys. I am also currently dog sitting for my sister, and oh my god, he's such a handful. I can't take it. But anyways, so yeah, like I said, this is okay. Prince, this is two people who just kind of outgrew each other, and I don't think, again, anything like toxic happened, or if it did, it wasn't like something that happened for a very long time. It was just kind of like maybe you noticed that person was losing interest, or they noticed you were losing interest. You guys kind of had a conversation about it and just decided to like amicably break up. That's just how I feel. It feels like very amicable, very like just straightforward, straight to the point, washing your hands of each other. Some of you guys might even still be friends with this person because, like, again, it was not a super toxic breakup, so it's possible that you guys could still be friends, still be in communication, maybe talk from time to time. But I don't think it's the kind of person who, like, is still causing you pain or anything. I just think it's kind of one of those things where it's like the relationship just ran its course, and that's really nobody's fault, it's just the circle of life. I hate to say it like that. That sounds so cheesy. But it's just, yeah, I mean, you guys were together, you dated for a while, and you dated while it was enjoyable. But then you just kind of outgrew each other. It just became less, romantic, less, you just noticed over time, you just became less and less interested in this person romantically. Like, cause again, I think some of you guys still actually might be friends. So yeah, I just think, again, you guys just kind of went your separate ways, like in the connection, and just decided to break up. So that's how I feel about that. So let's get into why this happened. And so we have the Queen of Swords and then the Ten of Swords. And this is what I feel like is just kind of mirroring the energy of what I just talked about. So I definitely think this is these cards reflect that kind of outgrowing each other. So we have the Queen of Swords, who very, like logical, rational thinker, but knows what's good for her and knows what's not, and I just think, like, again, I don't get a lot of like crazy emotional, like toxic energy. I really just think this is like what happened between two people who just learned all they could from each other, or learned all they could from the connection. Like, I definitely think at one point, like I said before, you guys were both very interested in each other and you had good times, but eventually those times just kind of wore off and the feelings just kind of wore off, and you kind of, I think, maybe contemplated the breakup for a while. Maybe you were thinking like, there's nothing really wrong with this person. Like, there's nothing really wrong in this connection. Like, nothing bad has really happened. It's just kind of, I just don't feel the same way that I did before. Like, the fire is gone, the passion is gone, it's just kind of, kind of following with like the air energy is kind of coming out to me here. You guys are both just kind of like two leaves, like blowing in the wind. That's kind of what I'm seeing in my head right now, is just two leaves blowing, and like the wind is blowing you. There's no intentional purpose behind, both parties. It's just kind of going with the flow type of thing. And that's like what happened in this relationship. You guys went from being very interested in each other, very like intentional with each other, to just kind of like going with the flow and losing that intention, losing that passion. Like, as you can see in the tarot, like there's no fire anywhere. Like, so that just tells me like the passion, there was none left, it's all gone. So just very, like logical air energy type here. And I think some of you guys might have tried to stay in this relationship because like nothing toxic was happening and nothing nothing really happened that would have been like a for real trigger to like end things, but you just kind of noticed yourself like just falling out of love, or falling out of like with this person, because we have the 10 of Swords here, and 10s are very much like completion, ending of the cycle, and I just feel like the relationship just ran its course, and I think you guys definitely learned from each other and you had good times together, but at the end of the day, like, their relationship just ended because that's what, it was just time, so yeah, I mean, I hate to like drag that out and continuously kind of say the same thing over and over again, but I also think that just kind of reflects the relationship energy as a whole. Like, eventually, at first, things were exciting, it was new, but then after you kind of started going with the flow, getting into the motion, like, things just kind of became boring and dull, and it's like, that's why you guys broke up. Like, I don't think either of you want something that's just boring, dull, or, just going through the motions. You want excitement, you want passion, you want to be in love, you want to feel, like your heart's on fire when you're with this person, and it just kind of felt just like very comfortable, and comfortable in a very boring way. So yeah, the connection just got very boring, and so it was just time for both of you to end things together, definitely. But okay, so then what were the lessons that you needed to learn or meant to learn from this connection? And so I had originally only planned to pull like one of the moon cards, but 3 of them came out. So you guys actually have 3 cards for what lessons you were meant to learn. And so we have bring love into the situation, don't let pride get in your way, and be bold and make the first move. So this, I think, is honestly referring to either one of you or both of you being able to say, like, learning, like, it's okay to break up with someone, and it's okay to not stay in a situation that you feel like is unfulfilling. Because again, as we kind of talked about, this person or in this relationship, like, nothing really like overtly toxic happened, nothing really like overtly triggering happened that would have, kind of ended the relationship. It's kind of just like, we're 2 people who just, are just a little bit too comfortable and not really in love anymore. And it's like, I think it's possible that you guys were in that phase of the relationship for a while before one of you kind of decided, and it was probably you, but one of you decided, like, no, we just have to go ahead and break up. So whoever, kind of like started that conversation or brought that up, I think you did that in the face of like some fear too, because again, like, this isn't a person who really hurt you and you didn't hurt them, but it's just kind of like, I can't be with you anymore. And maybe in the past, like, you've been the kind of person who hasn't really been able to speak up for themselves always, or always like make moves in your life that are according to what you actually want, but I think like what you were meant to learn by ending the relationship with this person was like learning that you don't have to settle for something that's unfulfilling. You can, like, just because things are going all right doesn't mean that you just have to be okay with that. Like, you can actually seek out something that's exciting, seek out something that you actually, are passionate about, someone that you actually, have like butterflies in your stomach for. At one point you probably did have butterflies for this person, but that is long gone now, so I think like what, as far as like the bring love into the situation, it's kind of like, yeah, like, not necessarily bringing love to the other person, but like recognizing that like there was an absence of the kind of love that you actually want to experience in a relationship. And so, and just realizing like, okay, like, I actually don't have to settle for that, and I actually can make decisions and make moves that are in my best interest, even if, that can like hurt the other person, because I'm sure that it did hurt to be on the receiving end of, oh, like, I don't want to be with you anymore, whichever one of you that was, just just because like it's hard and it's uncomfortable to either receive that or to even have to give that message. It's just an uncomfortable thing to have to do. So I just think it makes sense why that may have been something that one or both of you struggled with. But like, you took the chance, you took the risk, and you were also probably kind of afraid of like losing that person entirely, because again, it's not someone, it's not like you don't like them anymore as a person. It's just that you guys just were no longer like good romantic partners in the sense that you fulfill each other in that way. But I think that you guys are probably, if you are still friends, much better friends than you are romantic partners. And like, it's kind of hard to break up with someone like that when you don't actually want to lose them out of your life, because when you tell someone, I don't want to be with you anymore, you know, of course they have every right to be like, okay, well, we're never going to talk again. And I don't think that's something that you guys both wanted. So if you are still friends with this person, I think that what you did was definitely in the best interest of your relationship as a whole, because you would have just kept on dragging this thing out, and then it would have been much harder to remain friends, because then it's like, okay, why did you waste so much of my time, you know? But you guys were able to break up, I think, at just a good enough time, because as a result, you can kind of stay friends with each other with little to no hard feelings. So it may have been like a little bit difficult and a little bit awkward at first, but I definitely think that you have made moves in the best interest to kind of keep maybe like a somewhat of a friendship together. So it just didn't work out like romantically. So overall, the lesson that I think you were meant to learn by this is that you can choose to make moves that are in your best interest, even if like it doesn't seem like there's anything actually wrong going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to settle just because like this person was like a nice guy or a nice girl, you know, like, I mean, people are nice and that's awesome, but that doesn't mean that you have to settle for something that's unfulfilling. So good for you. Like, you learned that and you were able to make a move in your situation based on that. So, but okay, so now we're going to get into like your role in the breakup and their role in the breakup. With these cards here, I'm going to say that the energies are interchangeable. So like, I'm actually just going to go by like person A and person B, and you can decide if you resonate more with the energy of person A or if you resonate more with the energy of person B. And if you feel like you're kind of resonating with both of the energies, it's just probably a sign that like you guys are just somewhat mirroring each other in this connection or in this like breakup. So for person A, their role in the breakup, we have the shaman. And what's interesting is that I think that the shaman, I think this is kind of maybe referring to the person who may have been the one who was on the receiving end of the like breakup, and like, you know, they were the one who was told like, you know, I don't think that we need to be together anymore. And I feel that way because I just get the sense that this person is somebody who, they're like a fixer, you know, like they're a healer. They want to make everything right. They want, you know, they don't like feeling like things are their fault, and they don't like feeling like they're very much the kind of person who feels like, you know, we can just, if we just continue to put energy into this and like work on it, like, you know, we can kind of get back to how things were. So they might have been the person in the relationship who tried to bring the passion back, who tried to bring the love back, you know, who like maybe, and I feel like this person is probably the more like intuitive person also. And so I think that they probably had a hunch or a feeling that the relationship was going to end. Or like they were the first ones to kind of notice like the love lost or the passion lost in this connection. And I think that they had maybe at one point in the relationship before the breakup kind of tried to overcompensate for that. So this person might have started kind of towards the end, like suggesting going on more dates, or, you know, like maybe bringing you flowers or bringing you gifts or anything, like trying to do anything that they can to kind of like bring that spark back or bring like the passion back, because they do genuinely like the other or person B, like for who they are, and think that they're great. but they just had trouble, I think, kind of accepting that the loss of like passion or the loss of love was out of their hands. There really wasn't anything that they were able to do to like bring person B back, you know? But then I think they also were kind of maybe not being fully like in their pursuit to try to kind of save the relationship. They may not have really given themselves or sat with themselves to really figure out how they actually felt. And then when they did, they were like, you know what am I actually trying to like fight for? You know, this, I actually don't feel the same way about this person and how they feel about me. So I think after the fact, after they got over that feeling of like, okay, I don't want to lose this relationship, or I want to save this relationship, then they realized like, you know what, it's actually for the best for this relationship to end, because when I consider how I actually feel, I don't actually feel as loving or as passionate about this connection, period. And I think this person, like after they kind of felt that way, because it's interesting to me how this is kind of right next to this like daydreaming card. Like I feel like at one point what they were kind of daydreaming about or thinking about was like a future with you or a future with you know, the other person in this connection. But eventually, like as they saw like their efforts weren't really helping and they were able to kind of come to clarity about how they actually felt, their mind started to wander as well with like, oh, like where is the grass greener? Like maybe I actually don't want this. And, you know, just kind of starting to think about the other options that they have available to them. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about person A in this connection. When we get over to person B, the Athlia, I actually have to look at the book again for this one because I just want to make sure that I have this right. Okay, so again, like I said that I felt like the shaman, person A, was the one who's on the receiving end of the breakup. I feel like this Athlia person was the one who initiated the breakup. Because let me just read from the book for a second. It's like, our soul recognizes the truth. When someone speaks it, a cool wave of relief washes over the room, and all the facts and figures in the world fall by the wayside. Such is the power of the Athlia. It has an undeniable resonance that goes beyond the rational. We can also recognize Athlia by its contagiousness. When we hear someone speak the truth, we see the truth within ourselves and are more likely to tell our own story. The Athlia card requires us to step toward an act of truth. This might look like a conversation, a gesture, a poetic act, or a ritual that honors the unveiling of what's been concealed. Reclaiming your own truth is a way to reclaim your vital energy, health, and a sense of beginning in the world. The truth has its own wings. Set it free. So yeah, I feel like, again, this was the person who was able to see first that this relationship is no longer working out. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. And they were the ones to bring that to the other person's attention. But I don't think that it was like just that easy for them. Like I definitely do feel like they went back and forth in their minds about like, okay, maybe we can like kind of get past this little like rough patch of, you know, not feeling too great about this, and maybe we can make things better to the point where we both feel, you know, that passion again or that love again. And I do think that they try to stick it out like a little bit, but their intuition was just telling them that, I mean, like the grass is greener, you know, and that you guys might be better off as friends instead of romantic partners. And so I think that it might not have felt like it at the time if you're person A, but I do feel like they ended this relationship or initiated ending this relationship in order for like the best interest of both of you. Like I think that this person here, they definitely like they weren't trying to think about, oh, like this is just what I want and I want to go explore and I want to go do other things and I want to go focus on other things. It wasn't just like a selfish thing like that, but it was also them thinking of you and wanting to release you from being in a connection that wasn't serving you as well, and also wasn't bringing you too much of anything, because I think that they kind of noticed that their energy changed and their energy slipped, and they weren't putting in the same amount of effort that you were, or person A was, you know. And so, and rather than kind of string you along or string person A along, they just kind of decided it's best if we just end the romantic connection the way that it is. But I don't think this person wanted to lose you all the way, period. So if I mean, you could be person A or person B, but if you are in no contact with the person that you're thinking about as it relates to this video, it's very possible that you could hear from them at some point and them wanting to still be friends with you. Because again, I don't think that the two of you don't want to be in each other's lives. I just think that the two of you just don't need to be together romantically, just because the want to be romantic with each other has just kind of dissipated. And like I said, the love has lost. You guys have gained all you needed to gain from each other in that way. And so now, like in a romantic sense, I don't think that there's really any going back, at least not right now at this point. Like I said, the energy can always change, energy can always shift. So in the future, who knows like what could happen. But as of right now, you guys are definitely better off being friends. And so if this person reaches out to you, or you reach out to them at some point and like you guys rekindle a friendship, I think that's completely okay, because I don't think that you guys want to completely be out of each other's lives. I just think that it's more of like a friendship type energy. Like I have respect for this person, I enjoy them as a person, but just not like in a romantic sense anymore. So just take that as it resonates. But okay, so then like what can you do to kind of restore yourself after this relationship ending, breakup, or what have you done maybe? And so we have the Emperor here, and I definitely feel like this is very much like tuning into yourself and like tuning into the strengths that you have as an individual. And I don't want to say like isolating yourself from other people, because that's not really what I mean, but more so I think this is just more of a time for you to be focused on yourself, be focused on what you have going on in your life. And I think making moves in your life in areas that don't have anything to do with the relationship. So this could be focusing more on like your career, or maybe like more of your hobbies, the aspects of your life that you feel like the things that you enjoy that really build you up. The Emperor just giving like, you know, very like divine masculine, like ambitious, motivational type of energy, you know, like drive, willpower, determination. And so if you have something in your life that you're working on right now that kind of requires you to use those aspects of yourself, I think that that is what you should focus on. Or even just if you don't, like focusing on like your sense of self. What are you motivated to do? What is driving you in this life? Like figuring out what that is, I think, is where you can kind of focus your energy and start to kind of restore yourself back to, you know, the healthiest version of you that you're trying to be. And it doesn't seem to me that like the energy should be focused on anything regarding like relationships right now, but more so just like what are the aspects of you that can help you to build yourself up, to help you find your way back into this like Emperor energy where you feel like confident in yourself and loving yourself, you know, and leading yourself in your own life, you know, and feeling like you're on top and in charge of what's going on in your life. So if you don't feel like that right now, then it's just time to, I think, get more in tune with what you have going on, finding those things that make you feel good, investing in hobbies that make you feel good about yourself. But I don't think it's about kind of getting too involved with other people right now at this point. So just take that as it resonates too. Okay, and then so how can you prepare for your next relationship? And see, interestingly enough, we have motivation here. And so this is from the fairy oracle deck that I have, and it says, when spring approaches, the flower fairies urge you to spring into action. If there's something you've been merely thinking about doing, they say get busy and do it. So again, like, I feel like this is mirroring this Emperor energy right here. So if there is like a project you're wanting to start and kind of invest more energy and time in, maybe it's time to kind of start thinking about that. It's really about building yourself up and you finding security in yourself and finding confidence in yourself. So that way, when it comes to the next relationship that you have, like, you can feel like a much more confident person and be able to receive your next partner and like feel more connected in that relationship because you feel better about yourself in general overall. So again, like, if there's a project that you've been kind of working on, it's coming up for me a little bit, like kind of going back to school, investing in your education. So some of you are thinking about maybe going back to school or starting like an internship or starting like an apprenticeship or something. I think this might be the time to kind of start thinking about that. Like, what do you actually want to do with your life? And what are the steps that you can take to kind of start making that happen? Because I definitely think that you are capable of doing so and you have the energy to do so. But it's possible that in the past, maybe you just dedicated a lot of your energy and time to like relationships or romantic energy or, you know, things like that. When I think right now, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to start putting your energy where, putting your energy into endeavors that build you up, that make you feel good. So maybe even, this is coming up for me to ask you, like, maybe even think about what are the areas of your life that you feel like you're not proud of, or you feel like, you know, could be better, or you feel like, I don't know, like if there's people talking about certain things about themselves, what is something that you would be scared to bring up about yourself? And like figuring out where that lack of confidence lies and focusing in on that and focusing on what you can do to kind of start building yourself up in that way. Like for the going back to school example, like if some of you guys feel like you're not where you want it to be in life, you maybe just aren't like making the waves in your career how you wanted to before, and maybe you saw yourself in a different position than you are right now, like, don't sweat it, you know, it's totally okay, but like tailor your focus to whatever that goal is. So whatever goals you have for yourself outside of a romantic connection, that's where you should kind of start and start thinking about, okay, like what changes can I make, or how can I invest my energy and time in order to, you know, build this part of myself up that doesn't feel so great. And that way you can build your confidence, build yourself into a person that feels better about themselves, and then you can attract that person or that relationship that you're really looking for. Because if you're not feeling too good about yourself and you're not feeling, you know, like you're where you want to be, it would make sense as to why, like, you haven't found the relationship that you want to be in yet, because we kind of like attract the energy that we put out. So if you are feeling, you know, not good enough, or feeling like you have improvements to make, or you have certain things that you want to accomplish before you really settle down with someone, like, this is the time to do it, and this is the time to focus on it, because that's you building yourself up in that way and raising your confidence is only going to help you attract the partner that is meant for you that much more. So yeah, like, thank you so much, pile number 1, for joining me in this reading. I really enjoyed reading these cards for you. If this pile resonated with you, please like this video or leave me a comment and let me know how it resonated, or even consider subscribing to the channel. Everything that you guys do like that really does help support me and helps me continue to make videos. So again, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. So yeah, in today's reading, we are looking into why did this breakup happen? And then so I'm going to go through kind of the energy check and describe the ending of the relationship for you. And with that should kind of give you, it should help you feel like if this is like the reading for you or not, because you should resonate with the first few cards. If not, if you're not feeling like you're resonating with the first few cards, energy check of this pile, go ahead and check out a different pile in this reading. and go ahead and see if that resonates with you a little bit better, or if not, then you can check out another reading on my channel. I'm sorry that I'm feeling like a little bit distracted. This like psychopath card is really freaking me out. Geez Louise. Okay, so yeah, let's get into the energy check and kind of describing the end of your relationship. So we have stagnant, stuck, dead end, frozen, psychopath, abusive, conniving, unpredictable, and we have the Eight of Pentacles. So this was definitely a toxic relationship. Definitely one person in this relationship was extremely abusive. I'm thinking like definitely emotionally abusive. It's very possible even physically abusive. And I'm also, I don't know why, borderline personality disorder is coming up for me. So it's very possible that like this person was extremely toxic, extremely abusive, like unpredictable. I'm even getting the sense that like this person may have stalked you. This person may have like extremely hot and cold, like they're love bombing you 1 second, and then the next second, like, you know, they're demeaning you, devaluing you, calling you all kinds of names. Just a very unstable person overall. And sorry, I just had a conversation with my friend earlier about like a situation like this, and so this is just like really resonating with me because anyways. But anyways, yeah. So, and with the stagnant, I'm getting like, it just got to the point where you realized like nothing's gonna change. There's nothing I can do. This person probably put a lot of like the responsibility on you for why the relationship wasn't going well, or for why things were, you know, bad, or for like making you responsible for all of their like insecurities and just like emotional outbursts and things like that. So I think, yeah, so it got to the point where it's just kind of like, you know, you're in this never ending cycle, like nothing's changing, nothing's getting better. I think that this person, like, again, you were kind of constantly in this cycle of like love bombing, and then they would switch up and just start like being demeaning and devaluing, and then go back to the love bombing. And like, it's not funny, but it would make like you feel really bad about yourself for a really long time, because this person would put all the negative energy onto you. They would make you the one responsible. Well, like, you know, I'm only acting like this because you did this, or you're doing that, or they're always like accusatory. It's always accusing you of something. It's always your fault, just always. And I think for a while you did believe them, and you might even be experiencing some like PTSD still from this relationship, because it's like this person was just really abusive and just really just like hot and cold. 1 minute they're so great, and the next minute, you know, they're really horrible. And it was just really hard for you to live in that all the time. And I think even some of you still now might even still be dealing with the after effects of this person. Like maybe they're not completely able to leave you alone. Maybe you even had to like get the police involved. Maybe you've had to get like a restraining order against this person, just because they really like would not stop. For some of you, I'm even getting that things got really, really bad. So there was like a serious threat of physical violence from this person to you. And you really had found yourself in a situation where I think that you never even thought that you could end up in a situation like this. It just kind of happened like so gradually, and like you might even still be just kind of like not understanding it all the way in your head of like, how did I even end up with this person? How did I even, you know, but I have to say, like, it is not for you to blame yourself, okay? This person is the one who's at fault. This person is the one who's wrong, and you are not responsible for the actions of other people, okay? And I'm starting to get like a little bit upset. I don't know if you can tell my energy has kind of shifted, because I just kind of feel like I'm just upset, because I just feel like this is a really jacked up person who just made you like the object of all of their issues, and just really put you in a position to feel like really bad. And I don't like that. I'm starting to get annoyed. I'm very annoyed right now, and I'm just mad. Like, I'm so mad for you that this person put you in this position and made you feel the way they made you feel, and had you thinking that it was your fault and your responsibility, because it was not at all. And I just, like, I cannot stand abusive relationships, domestically violent relationships, manipulative relationships. It's not okay. It's not fair. And I'm just, if you have been able to fully escape this person, like, I'm very, very happy for you. But for some of you, I do feel like you are still dealing with this person kind of like coming around and making themselves present in your life, even though you don't want to be. Some of you may be tied to this person through like having children with them. So it's literally like you cannot escape this person, because you have to be in contact with them because of like the children. And I just feel bad, because it's not a situation that anybody should have to deal with and should have to be in. And I'm really like sending you love and sending you warmth as you kind of try to navigate this, because it's definitely like this person, they're looking at me and like the eyes are just really like making me upset. I don't like this card at all. I really want to turn it over, but I'll leave it up for now, for how much longer I can take it. But I'm actually being very affected by this card. But anyways, okay, so we have the Eight of Pentacles here. And so like, again, like, I think you just realized that there was nothing else that you could do. You had exhausted all aspects of the situation that you could. And like, I'm looking at the moon cycle here, and like, you really realized it was going to be never ending with this person. Like, no matter how many times they like apologized and swore or promised that they would do better and things would change, it never happened. They were always putting you in the position to be responsible for their actions. And the relationship ended because you were finally able to realize that like it was never going to change, and they were never ever going to not like stop doing things that hurt you and stop putting you in positions to be hurt. So yeah, if you're not resonating with that energy, then go ahead and pick a different pile, but that's just kind of how I feel about this. So I'm going to do my best as I go through the rest of this reading for you. But okay, so then we have like the why did this happen? And again, like with that, you realized, you know, like the cycle was never going to end. We have the Five of Cups here, and then the Four of Cups. And Five of Cups, like it's giving like, you know, emotional turmoil, very much, you know, it's kind of like an overflow of just like emotions that you don't have control over. Like, I don't know if you can really see because of the camera quality, but like the cups down here are like cracked and like bruised, and like the water's all flowing out. And then we have the two cups here, and like the phrase is coming to me that like how much more can I give? Like, how much more can I sacrifice? Like, and I think that might have been how you felt about this, is just like, I don't have anything else for this person. I've given, and still they're asking for more. And like, I have been like sucked dry. I don't have any more to give this person. And like what little I do have, like with the two cups that I can still hold, is like, I need that for me. And this person really was just like, being in a relationship with them was an emotional roller coaster. And I don't think it was ever gonna be something that, I don't think there's anything that you could have done to make the situation different than how it ended up. I really do think that like this is a person who, again, like either borderline personality disorder or like narcissistic personality disorder, or has some type of mental health issues that there was literally nothing you could have done. And I feel like I have to keep on saying that, because you're probably still living in the PTSD of thinking that like some aspects of this are your fault, or thinking that, you know, like you're the reason why this person was abusive. And I would understand why you would feel that way, because they were extremely manipulative. And so they manipulated you into thinking that. But that's not what happened here. With the Four of Cups, I'm just getting like a betrayal of trust. And so they kind of put themselves in a position to get you to trust them, to believe them, and to like think what they said like was meaningful, and what, you know, they said was, excuse me, and what they said was like truth, you know. And like I'm looking at this and like literally they think that everything that came out of their mouth was like the holy grail, and like it wasn't, you know. So it's like while they're kind of trying to present themselves as this like amazing person who knows all, who does all, who has the answers for everything, is really just like a front and an act, because they actually don't have like any, I don't want to say like depth, because there's obviously is depth to this person, because what they've probably been through a lot that has gotten them to this point to be able to think that it's okay to act like this. But like they don't have depth in the sense that they're able to even be the kind of person who like can give you anything like solid or significant. Like nothing that they have to give is what you need and even worth giving, and not something that anybody who wants a calm, like loving, like healthy relationship should have. Yeah, this person, this happened because this was the only thing that could happen. It was either like you guys break up or things get exponentially worse and you find yourself in a way more like dangerous or like manipulated position to where it was going to be that much harder for you to get out. And I do think that you had some spiritual assistance as far as like being able to leave this person, whether you are like spiritual or not, or intuitive or not. Your spirit team was definitely supporting you through this relationship on the other side, and they have helped you kind of escape this person or get away from this person, and, you know, putting you in a position to kind of reflect and come back into yourself and really just keep you safe from a person like this, because this is not a safe person, and this is not a person that you would want to be with. No. And I know it's probably really hard for you, because at one point they did present themselves as a person who was like worthwhile and a person who was worth investing in and like kind of sticking through the bad times. But like again, you just notice like things, not only are things like staying in this cycle, but they're getting worse and worse and worse. Like maybe the abuse kind of only started off as like maybe like that person making a smart comment here and there, or at first, or, you know, or just lightly accusing you of maybe cheating or talking to somebody else. But then they just kind of got more and more and more unhinged as time went along. And, you know, in the beginning, you did like this person, you love this person, and you fell in love with them, and you are the kind of person who, you know, wants to fight to make things work. But unfortunately, it was never going to work with this person. Yeah, it was never going to work with them. But like, thankfully you're in a position now where you can kind of see that, and you can recognize that and not have to live in that situation anymore. Okay, but let's see, what lessons were you meant to learn? And we have like expect powerful change. And with this, I kind of feel like I don't want to throw the cliche on there of like everything happens for a reason, because I don't really feel like, I mean, for some of you, you're not that far removed from this relationship, and it didn't happen that long ago, so it's all still very like emotionally fresh. For some of you, this was a relationship that happened like a long time ago, or a while ago, and you are a little bit further removed from it. So some of you have kind of like found that point of, you know, this really sucked, but I understand why I went through this. And others of you are kind of still like just in the beginning stages of that level of processing. And so I really just feel like, again, I don't want to use the cliche of everything happens for a reason, but I think that you were meant to be in relationship with this person for you to be able to see that like you are so much stronger, and you have so much more resilience than I think in the past that you were able to really see or really able to recognize. And I think that the lesson that you're meant to learn here is that, yes, this is like a terrible situation and it cost you a lot of emotional harm, but it's also like one of the steps in you realizing like the kind of person that you are and like realizing what you deserve, and you do not deserve that. Okay. I think that you might have seen, or you will see, a shift in your level of self-confidence and level of self-esteem, because this person, they may have, like, they've probably found you at a very like vulnerable time in your life, and which is how they were able to kind of infiltrate and like, you know, manipulate you and all of that, because you were vulnerable. You were in a stage where maybe you just like wanted to be loved. You wanted to feel love, and this person came along and like love bombed you and showed you that and made you think that this is what love was. But then quickly you realized, no, this does not feel good. This does not feel right. I know this isn't what love is. And that might be the place that you're either shifting to or you have been in for a while. And so like overall, the lesson that this is teaching you is like, okay, I want to be loved the right way. I don't want love just for love's sake, you know, I don't want to have to like love on conditions or terms that are not in alignment with what I want for myself. I don't have to just settle for whatever someone's going to give me. I can request what I need, and I can like demand that, and I don't have to accept less than that. I think that even with the word powerful here, like I'm really getting a sense of like, yes, this is a very tough and a very hard, devastating situation to go through, but it's also a sense in you shifting like your power, and you shifting being able to kind of like feel powerful within yourself. Because yes, again, this is a very hard thing to go to, but it's also an even harder thing to like leave situations like this, you know, and to not stay. The harder thing to do is to not stay and to put yourself maybe in some sort of risk to leave this person, to find something better, to, you know, start to cultivate a better relationship with yourself. And if you haven't gotten there yet, that is what is going to happen based on you leaving the situation. You're going to be able to see your worth, and like in the next point, like find something, you know, that is more in alignment with how you feel about yourself in terms of like being worthy and being worth it for you to advocate for what you want and not settle for less than that. Because, you know, you were just kind of with this person because you wanted to be in love for love's sake, but now you've realized, okay, no, there's a lot more that goes into that, and I have a right to advocate for my needs and what I will and will not stand for as it relates to a person in a relationship in the future. So I think that the powerful change that is going to happen for you, or has happened for you, is that shift of like, okay, I don't have to just accept whatever comes my way, but I can request and require what I need, and I can reject a person who is not going to give me what I need. I don't need to just surrender or submit to what they're willing to give. I'm able to control my own narrative that much more, and I can be in control of my life and not just settle for what anything that and any energy that someone's trying to come in with. Okay, so let's go. I originally had like your role and their role in the breakup, but it's very possible that either of these energies can be one or the other person. So for person A's role in the breakup, we have the Mountain here. And I kind of feel like this is the energy of the other person, you know, the abusive, conniving, unpredictable person. Because the Mountain, to me, as it relates in this reading and in this sense, this is someone who like who is not willing to shift, who can't be moved, someone who like they are stuck and they're where they're at, and like they cannot move at all. Like you know the phrase like, you can move mountains. Like, no, like this person cannot be moved. The mountain's gonna stay exactly where it is. And this is a person who, like, it's very hard for them to look at themselves and reflect and say like, okay, there's something wrong with me, you know? Like, this is the kind of person who is going to project all of their issues and inadequacies and that on other people. There is little to no ability to like self-reflect here. Like, I'm really attracted to like this part of the image here with like the person in this little like kind of cave opening thing that's in the mountain, and then there's like the fire kind of behind them. And I kind of see it as like them like facing forward, so back to the fire, and it's like them looking at the rest of the world and being like, this is wrong, like this is wrong, like that's wrong, that's wrong, instead of turning around and being like, holy crap, my whole life is on fire, or my whole sense of self is on fire, or who I am is actually kind of effed up, you know? It's like only being able to see the flaws and the issues in other people and not able to self-reflect, not able to look and see what is the energy that they're putting out into the world, and like, how is that or is that not okay? So yeah, so for this like person A, I really feel like this is a person who is stuck, set in their ways, who can't, who not can't, but is, well, maybe can't, but is like very much unwilling to self-reflect and very much unwilling to see themselves as the problem. It's always somebody else. It's always something, you know, there's someone to blame it on. It's never their fault. It's always, you know, just somebody else's fault. There's little to no accountability. The only accountability that they take is when they're in that cycle of like the love bombing, when they're trying to keep you to stay, because then they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry, like I will never do that again, like like you can trust me, like I promise you, like I will never ever talk to you like that again, and I won't, and blah 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 blah. And like, it's all just hollow. It's just such hollow words. And this is just the kind of person who they have little to no self-awareness and sense of self. They're just causing havoc wherever they go, wherever they step, without any real accountability, or without any real like reckoning is not the word, but basically just they're unable to look at themselves and actually like see themselves as the problem, other than when they're trying to manipulate somebody else. So they don't have any problem like saying, oh, I'm sorry, this was my fault, you know, when they're trying to like get you back after they've done something like ridiculous and crazy to you, you know. But yeah, this is just not the kind of person who is able to look at themselves and see themselves as the problem and then make an adjustment. It's always somebody else, and they're just, you know, again, gonna continue to be in this cycle of just behavior that's not okay. And so obviously we can see how that connects to their role in the breakup. And so for person B, we have the Temple. And for this, what's really coming to me is like a person who, it's interesting because I kind of feel it's like kind of similar in the sense of like low self-awareness, but I don't mean that in like a negative way, like you're incapable and unwilling to do that. I think it's more so like, I think you may have been raised or taught to kind of look outside of yourself for validation, or look outside of yourself for like the right choice or the right way to move, or like things along that line. Like I'm getting like just like the temple, where we can talk about like, you know, the religious and spiritual aspects of the word temple, period. But like I'm kind of thinking of a person like maybe who was raised like very religiously, and so like maybe you're following the aspects of like a religion or like a group of religious people rather than what like you actually believe on the inside. So for example, if this was a person that you're married to, or you were married to, and maybe like your religion doesn't believe in divorce, so it's like maybe, you know, you stayed with this person or stayed in this cycle because, you know, your religion or whatever, people that you grew up with have taught you like divorce is bad, one of the worst things that you can do, you know, but you also knew on the inside that like this was not what you wanted, you know, this is not like how a marriage should be, and how can it possibly be worse to divorce this person than to stay in this situation, you know? That's just an example. Like, take that as it resonates. I'm not saying that's like everybody's situation who's the person B here, but I really get the sense that person B, like, I think you really had to take a risk. I mean, really had to take a significant risk when it came to like leaving this person, because I also, and I don't, when I'm talking about like self-awareness, I don't mean like you just don't know anything about yourself. I mean, like, I think you often have made decisions based on like outside influences rather than what you actually want or what you actually feel on the inside. So you may have been with this person for so long because of that kind of low sense of self and low sense of self-awareness. They were, you know, they were able to manipulate you, and they were able to kind of keep you in this cycle of, you know, like manipulation, love bombing, manipulation, love bombing. And because of your lower sense of self in that way, it was a lot easier. And I don't mean this negative, like, I'm not trying to like say anything negative about you, please. I'm just like trying to describe the situation as I see it in my, you know, intuition. But like, I think that you are the kind of person who you can believe other people before you really like look inside and like make a decision based on just yourself and what you're really recognizing is or is not okay. But I think like that is something that you're going to be stepping out of or have stepped out of as you kind of left this situation, because obviously you had to make that decision based on yourself and your life and what you knew was good for you, not based on whatever this person like had manipulated you to believe. So like, I just think and I'm not, like, again, I'm not saying right now, but in the past, this person has been the kind of person who has been easily influenced by outside things rather than going based on like how they actually feel on the inside. And so I think that's how you guys were able to kind of link up and find yourselves in this situation together, just because, you know, they are a manipulator, and unfortunately, based on your like lower sense of self and ability to make decisions, you know, for your highest good, just based on your own personal opinion, you know, there were forces at work that kind of had kept you in this situation to be manipulated. But I think that's something that you're stepping out of. And I think like then kind of you trying to figure out how to make trying to figure out how to make yourself and like trying to figure out how to become more in alignment with like what you've been taught and how you actually feel on the inside. So just kind of like recognizing that line of like, okay, I respect, you know, like what my religion says or what like the people around me are saying, but I also have to figure out how to go about my own path, you know? So yeah, I just think like that's kind of the conflict that person B like has experienced or did experience as it related to this breakup. But eventually they were, or you were able, if you are person B, you were able to figure out like, okay, I need to do what's best for me, and I can't go based on these outside people, these outside beliefs, because that's just not serving me at the end of the day. The situation that I'm in is not okay, and I know that, and I want to make something different for myself, and I want to be in something different. So yeah, take that as it resonates. And then so like, what can you do to kind of restore yourself after that breakup? And we have the Temperance card here, and I don't know, I feel the need to just take like a deep breath, like just like inhale, exhale, just like what you need is time. You need time and space. And I also think maybe like some support. So it will be worth it to maybe look into see what resources you have for support around you. So that could be like spiritual resources, or, you know, like physical resources in other people, maybe getting into therapy, maybe seeing a counselor to kind of like talk through what you've been through, talking through this whole situation. Because I definitely don't think that what you need to focus on is anything other than yourself right now. Like, you have been through a time of a lot of emotional roller coaster and like ups and downs, you know, and it's time like to like regroup, recenter, and like refigure yourself out, figure out like how you got here, and like how do you want to show up and just kind of coming more into alignment with yourself in that regard. Because what you definitely lacked in this connection was like balance between, you know, yourself, your needs, and like the needs of the other person. And so I think what it would be most beneficial for you to do is to get back in touch with, okay, like what are the things that I need? How can I use life to my advantage to like feel better about myself, and to not get so, I guess, you know, like emotionally, just don't get so emotionally invested in too many different things right now. It's like coming back to center is how I feel. Coming back to me, coming back to who you are, coming back into yourself, getting more in touch, getting clarity. I'm just like looking at this like little foot going into the water here, and just like reconnecting with nature, reconnecting with your body. I think that, like, you know, you had to deal with a lot as it relates to this person and this situation. So you really just like coming back to yourself, reconnecting with the body, reconnecting with your mind. You know, you might even find beneficial some mind body work. That might actually be, that's coming to me, that might be really beneficial for you as you're trying to kind of overcome maybe some of these, if you're experiencing like PTSD and like, you know, trauma recovery, mind body work can actually be really, really good. So I would recommend you look into that and kind of see if maybe there's any resources there that might be able to help you out. But again, like reconnecting with yourself, reconnecting with your spirit. And also I feel like forgiveness is coming up for me. So like self-forgiveness, like you don't need to beat yourself up for ending up in the situation that you were in, you know, like it's okay. It's okay. You don't need to consistently feel bad about yourself or feel like you really screwed up. You know, I think that self-forgiveness is really coming up big for me. And you just have to forgive yourself, because you didn't do anything wrong. All you did was you thought you loved someone, you thought they loved you, and you wanted to make things work because you thought that you were in love, and you thought that this was, you know, good until it wasn't. But just look at it as, you know, okay, like now you know, and now you can make a different decision in the future, you know, or now you'll know the red flags and you'll know what to look for and know what's not for you. Remembering that like expect powerful change card, you know, like getting back in touch with yourself, getting back in touch with, you know, who you are, and not beating yourself up. I'm looking for some like grace and self-compassion, you know, really utilizing a lot of self-compassion through this time, seriously. Okay, so then how can you kind of prepare for your next relationship? I will say I don't want you to get too caught up in this part of the reading, because I definitely feel like there's some time that you need to take before, you know, you'll be ready to kind of get into a relationship again. But we have the inner child and also wisdom. So the inner child, the fairies of playfulness remind you to make time to embrace your inner child. Playing keeps us young at heart. Do something silly and fun, but stay safe. Then we have the wisdom. Have you ever been told that you're wise beyond your years? Now is the time to call upon your inner fairy wisdom to help you with a challenge. So I definitely feel like Spirit is calling you to connect with your inner child, and to like cater to your inner child, because I think one of the reasons why you may have like kind of been more susceptible to being like in a relationship with a person like this is because you actually have like some negative experiences from your childhood, or feelings of like feeling like nobody was there for you, feeling like, you know, just insecurely attached to your caregivers. Maybe they were kind of focused on other things, or maybe even your caregivers were abusive to you in childhood. So when you're with this person, it just kind of felt like very regular and very normal to you at first, because you're used to being around people who are abusive and conniving and unpredictable, you know? So I think Spirit is calling on you to really show your inner child some love and figure out, you know, you can be the person for your inner child that no one was for you at the time, you know, like, so maybe getting back, like I said, getting back into your body, doing some mind body work, thinking back on your childhood experiences and thinking about how that child that lives inside of you is showing up and contributing to how you're showing up today, you know? Because again, like kind of coming back to this temple card, it's like, you know, living kind of according to the validation from other people. And I think that maybe your caregivers in childhood did not validate you, were not there for you, didn't make you feel good and secure. So as a result, you're kind of, you like look for that, you know, outside into the world and the relationships that you're in, you know. But like, just like I said with the temple card, I think that you can figure out how to be that person for yourself if you haven't already, you know, because for some of you, this is a relationship that happened a while ago, but you're just kind of finding this video now. But, and again, like I think that you have, if you haven't unlocked it yet, you definitely will. You have tons of wisdom. And I also feel like with this wisdom here, I think that you might even be able to be like a very like good advocate for people who have been abused in relationships in other ways. So like maybe you'll find yourself kind of working in like a domestic violence shelter or volunteering at a domestic violence shelter, or finding out how to pay it forward as it relates to this work and helping other people who have been in abusive relationships recover and help them recognize the signs, or kind of start join that collective effort to help people like avoid being in abusive relationships in the future. I think that all this happening to you is going to contribute to a significant amount of wisdom that you're going to have to give out to the people that you encounter in life moving forward. So just take that as it resonates. But I definitely think that I'm really sorry that you went through this, but you definitely have the opportunity to recover and come back stronger than ever. And this might have been like a situation that you had to go to in order to become the person that you will become, or you have become already. Because again, like, I know it was really hard, but this is a trigger for very powerful change in your life. And I think that you might experience yourself being such a much stronger person than you could have ever imagined. Like, think about what it took for you to survive this situation and like be able to leave it. You're so strong, you're so resilient. Like, only resilient people are able to survive things like this and be able to move on and make something even better and more great with their lives. So just remember that you are so strong, you are so resilient, and you will recover from this. I guarantee it. But thank you so much, Pile 2, for joining me in this reading. If this reading did resonate with you, please consider liking this video or even leaving me a comment. That really does help my channel and helps me continue to make videos. Also, if you want to catch readings in the future, just think about maybe subscribing to the channel. I would love to have you as one of my subscribers. So again, thank you so much, Pile 2, for joining me in this reading, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you guys chose pile number 3 and the citrine stone. Okay, so as you can see, I kind of already pulled the cards that I needed to for this reading. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into it, and just remember that if you're not resonating with the energy of this reading after the first couple of cards, go ahead and try out a different pile, because it's possible that your reading could be actually in one of those piles. Also, if you're not resonating with any of the piles at all, go ahead and maybe check out a different reading on my channel, and it's possible that, you know, you will resonate with one of those readings a little bit better. But okay, so let's get into it. So kind of just like going through and describing the end of your relationship. We have shattered, broken, nightmares, failures, and we have the Queen of Swords and the Hierophant. So I definitely feel like there was a lot of effort put in on your end of this, or maybe the end of the other person, to kind of prevent this breakup from happening. I get the sense, though, that there was, like, I don't know if power imbalance is the right word, but I'm going to go ahead and say power imbalance between you and your partner. So I feel like one of you, it was just kind of like they were the one who was looked at as to, are things going well? Are things not going well? Like, maybe you were kind of trying to live up to like certain expectations of that person, or I think that maybe that person just had a lot of like things that they blamed you for. I think like they often had you feeling like, oh, well, you're the one who probably needs to fix this, or you're the one, I mean, it's not really my fault. Like, you know, you're the one who has the problem. Like it's funny because I kind of see like one person being the Queen of Swords and the other person being the Hierophant. So the Queen of Swords is like consistently thinking, consistently trying to figure out like, okay, like strategizing, like what do I need to do? How can I, you know, make this relationship the best that it possibly can? How can I make sure that the other person feels like they're getting what they need out of this relationship? How can I, you know, basically like how can I, you know, really like thinking a lot, maybe even over investing your energy into what is needing to be put into the relationship. And then the other person is just over here in like la la land, just kind of like, oh, you know, like it's kind of all about me and like I don't really care, like I'm just, you know, I mean, you know, I'm just kind of like going through the motions, and like we'll see if this person can do what it needs to be done in order to make their relationship work, you know, because it's really just like, I get the sense that one of the person who's like kind of embodying the Hierophant energy is very like absent-minded, just very like non-intentional is what's coming to mind for me, and they're just kind of going with the flow. And just like a little bit hot and cold, you know, some days that you feel like they're really into you, and then other days it's just like, oh, I don't really know how I feel, you know, maybe we'll be together forever, I don't know, like, you know, maybe this relationship will be like, you know, for the long run, I don't know, you know, just very like an energy that like did not feel ever fully secure. So it's like one person is consistently thinking about, how can I make this work? How can I, you know, how can I? And then this other person is kind of like, I mean, yeah, like, how can you? What are you willing to do? You know, because if things don't work out, it's your fault, like type of thing. Like this person, not at all taking any responsibility, not at all being intentional, just kind of like literally sitting back in la la land, waiting to see like what you can do for them, but not ever really too concerned about what they can do for you. So definitely like a power imbalance as far as this person's always feeling like they need to live up to the other person or put in a certain amount of, and this person may even feel like less like worthy than the other person. Like I think you might put the other person like on this pedestal, or you did put them on this pedestal, but I think like what there is to realize, and if this could not be you could be that person, but you know, take it as it resonates. But this person really didn't need to be put on the pedestal that they were put on, like, because when you really sit back and you reflect and you think about what they put in, it was like little to nothing. So then like now in breakup, it's like, oh, like I was fighting so hard for what? A person who really had little to nothing to offer to begin with, you know? But I think like you saw certain things in them that made you think that they were so amazing and made you think that like you were so lucky to be with them, but they never really like gave you that energy back. And so with the Shattered here, I feel like when the breakup did happen, you were kind of really torn up about it, and you felt really bad. You felt like, oh my God, like how could I have lost this person? How could, you know, this have happened to me? Like, how could this have happened? I'm so sad. Like, what did I do? How did I not like put in what I needed to put in, like type of thing? And then the other person was kind of like, nah, like it's whatever, you know, just like never really caring too much one way or the other. And that's what you found even more devastating and heartbreaking, because like you guys broke up and you were really torn up about it, but they were just kind of like, it just felt like to you like nothing happened, and like they were just okay, and they just kind of like moved on, like not like you guys weren't even together. And I'm sure that was probably really devastating for you. So again, I just feel like just like a different balance of power as of like who has control, who you know, who is the one who like says like, okay, we're gonna be together or we're not, you know, because like one person wants to be with the other person a lot more than that person wants to be with them, is kind of how I feel. But okay, yeah, so let's get more into it. So what lesson were you meant to learn as it relates to this connection? And we have the Queen of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. Okay. So I think the lesson that you're meant to learn is that you're definitely worthy of a person who actually shows that they want to be with you. And you don't have to like settle with a person who's just very meh, very like unintentional, you know, who doesn't really put too much into anything. Like you may not be there yet, because it's possible that for some of you this breakup is still pretty fresh, so you're kind of still really feeling like the shattered like energy, very just like heartbroken and upset about it, which I completely understand. But what I think will happen, if it hasn't already happened, is that you will learn like, I deserve to be catered to, I deserve to be pampered, I deserve for someone to like care about impressing me just as much as I care about impressing them. Like I deserve someone who's willing to put in the energy that I need in order to like feel good in a relationship. I deserve to be treated like a queen, type of thing. And I think like what you will maybe notice, you know, is like as you kind of start to do more of your healing work and feel better, I think that you'll see this kind of shift in you, in what you would require out of somebody else. I think that like in this past relationship here, like you kind of settled for the other person not really putting in too much, but now what you're kind of learning is that like you have needs, those needs are important, and you don't need to settle for someone who like doesn't care or isn't going to act like, you know, they're just too good to do what you need them to do, type of thing. And with the Ten of Cups here, it's also kind of like pulling me to that it's either you're going to be emotionally fulfilled or that's not the person for you, type of thing. So like you were not at all emotionally fulfilled in this relationship here, because again, it was very much you focused on like, what can I do to keep this person? What can I do to, you know, make this person not leave? What can I do to, you know, make this relationship the best that it is? And that other person was not putting in the same energy. But you will soon like transform, if you have not already, into realizing like, okay, I am a really great person. I bring so much to the table, and I deserve somebody who matches that energy. And I deserve somebody who's willing to put in that effort. And I deserve somebody who actually cares about how they make me feel, and who cares about what type of energy they bring into my life, you know? And so I think like the biggest thing that you're meant to learn from what you've been through so far is that you don't have to settle for less. And this is kind of similar to the messaging of pile number 1. So maybe check out that pile too, because it's possible there could be some messages in that pile for you as well. But yeah, like I think this relationship is going to be, or this breakup is going to teach you, if it hasn't already, to view yourself in a higher regard than like that other person, you know, or in a much higher place than you do now, because you definitely deserve to receive the energy that you put out and not to accept less than that. So definitely feel like you are learning through this connection to see your own worth and see your own value, and to, in connections that, you know, come in the future, for you to not compromise on that and not settle for less than that, and not accept energy from someone who's not willing to give you what you need. So really just focusing on like you learning to accept what you deserve, and what you deserve is a lot, and to not accept less than that. You know, you deserve to accept energy from someone who's going to match what you bring to the table, because again, you bring a lot to the table. And so you need someone who's also going to be able to bring a significant amount of things to the table as well. Well, you know, learning and like, why did that happen? This is also like the why did that happen type of thing. Why did the breakup happen? And that happened because that person wasn't bringing in the energy that you needed. And again, okay, so I kind of had that mixed up, sorry. But yeah, so the why did this happen? It was because they weren't putting in the energy that you were. And again, you need to kind of, what you'll realize is that, like you don't have to settle for less than what you need. Okay, so then like, again, with more lessons, like believing in the impossible and prosperity lies ahead. So I don't really know if you're the kind of person who's ever been in a relationship before where you actually have felt fully satisfied. Like, I don't know if you've ever like had a partner where you felt like, yes, like this person is great. They check all of my boxes. They do like everything that I need, you know, because I think again, with like what you've been through in the past with this particular person not really caring too much about what you need and not really caring to put in the energy into the relationship that reflects like them caring about you. If you've been in like multiple relationships like that, I think you might have started to believe that like all people are the same, or like you can only find the same types of person to be with, because and like maybe you have kind of settled into this reality of like, okay, well, I'm never fully gonna get what I want. I'm never gonna get all of my boxes checked. So I just kind of have to figure out like who is decent enough for me to be with, you know. But I think that's like not the mindset that spirit or the universe wants you to have as it kind of relates to your connections with other people, because I think they want you to, again, put yourself on a higher pedestal and really see yourself and see your own value and see what you bring to the table, and like be okay with rejecting some people who don't match that energy, you know, because being willing to stand up for what you know you deserve and not settling for less than that. So then we had like the believe in the impossible, you know. And so I think that that's just a reflection of how it kind of seems like that person will never show up, or they just like don't exist. But I promise you, like, they do exist. And I had like another psychic tell me this once, because I went in there talking about like, I just don't think this person exists, you know. And she told me, you know, they do exist. And you want to know why? Because you exist. So this person, the ideal person that you have in your mind, maybe the person that like you've never met but you've been dreaming of, like, they do exist, and you can find them and you can meet them. But it's only going to happen when you start holding yourself to like that standard that you're actually wanting, and like not accepting less. Because as long as you're willing to accept less than what it is that you deserve, you're going to just keep on encountering these like F boys or F girls, because, you know, like, you're willing to settle for that. The second that you shift and that you're not willing to settle anymore, I think you can meet that person and invite that energy in, and you will have prosperity with that person, you know. There are definitely better romantic times on the way for you, but it's just a matter of you deciding, am I going to settle for any measly person that comes in that doesn't, you know, really do it for me, but I just want to be in a relationship, so whatever? Or are you going to hold out and like really, you know, wait for that right person to come along, and like, again, not settle for things that are not fulfilling, or like, you know, that like you need this, but this person who's coming in doesn't have it. And so just like choosing to not accept that and like continue to get back out there and wait for that right person to come along, you know. I think that you have a lot of power in actually making your dreams come to fruition, more than you have been able to kind of recognize at this point, you know. So not being in love just for love's sake, and not having a partner just for having a partner's sake, but really investing the time and energy that it takes to hold out for that person who's actually going to, you know, like check the boxes that you need and fulfill you in the ways that you actually want to be fulfilled. So what is person A's role in this breakup? And we have the sword here. And so person A, that could be you, that could be them. Just kind of take the energy as it resonates. And this is interesting because I'm really kind of getting like a person who is like warm and cold. A person, like, there's two sides to this coin, you know, like the double-edged sword or whatever. They have like really great aspects of themselves, but also just very, like, you know, not great aspects about themselves. Sometimes they're really caring and they're really great, and sometimes they're just not caring at all, and like they don't really have any intentions for like what happens next. So I'm getting the feeling that this is like this person here. Like it's funny because I think one of the reasons why, like, maybe because it could have taken a while for this breakup to actually happen, and I think one of the reasons why is because of the different sides of this person. Because like I think like they would go through periods where they're really great, they're really amazing, they are really showing up into the energy of a person that you really want to be with, you know. But then like maybe a little bit later they would kind of shift and kind of go into these other like aspects of their personality and really show off that aspect, and that was just like not something that was great and not something that really served you or served the relationship overall. Excuse me. So I think that, like, again, this person had lightness to them and they had darkness. They had like good things about them and they had bad things about them. And I mean, so do we all. You know, we all have like really great aspects of ourselves. We all have, you know, less than optimal aspects of ourselves. But I think like this person, it's just so drastically different, like how like their lighter aspects versus like the darker aspects of them. And so it's not like, maybe this person had a bad day. It's like, no, they're having like a bad month and like just being really like weird and like shady, like, or something. Or some, like, okay, I've been resisting saying it, but I keep thinking it, so I'm just gonna say it. Bipolar is coming up for me. So maybe this person like struggles with a bipolar disorder, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. You know, plenty of people like have bipolar disorder and live like very fully functioning, you know, like lives and are great people. You know, they just like have this problem that you know, they manage, you know. But I don't know if this person, like, this is just for some of you, this is not for all of you. I don't know if this person like either knows, so they could be undiagnosed, or they could just like not be, they do know and they're just choosing not to manage it and not like, you know, do the things that they need to do in order to manage it. And that could have added a lot of extra stress on the relationship, you know. But that's their choice as an individual. There's nothing that you can do about that if that is the case for that person. So yeah, I just think that this person, they just were not consistent enough for you to feel fulfilled in this relationship. And like, again, when things were great, they were great, but when things were bad, they were bad. Like, and it was just a lot of changes and being like hot and versus cold, and just there little to no consistency with this person as far as how they treated you or how the relationship was going. And I think that the other person in this connection would have just found that very exhausting to always be living in that energy. Okay, and so then we have person B here, and we have the mother. And I'm definitely identifying the mother with this like Queen of Swords energy. So this person like is a nurturer, and this person, like, they want to see the good in everybody. They want to see like the great aspects of people and what you know, they can even like in like see what they saw in this. Even when this person was going through like their darkness, this person only focused on what they knew was there in the light. Like, they took the light way more seriously than like the dark aspects of them, which is definitely admirable, I will say that. But it did get to the point where it's just like, you know, this is exhausting. I can't do this anymore. I can't live in this anymore. It's really hurting me. It's very negative. So I feel like this person may have been the one to actually end the relationship for some of you, but unfortunately, like, this other person, they just kind of like, okay, like that's fine, you know, like they didn't like fight back for the relationship like you or person B hoped they would. So it was even that much more devastating, you know, in the breakup, because you were kind of expecting like, okay, like I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna walk away, or person B was expecting to leave, walk away, and then person A would, you know, then like shape up and get their act together. But that's just not what happened. So it was just that much more devastating when the breakup actually did happen. And again, I'm like paying attention to this like pearl here in the middle of this nest. And like, again, this is person B is the kind of person who sees the good in others and wants to help bring out those elements. And like, you might even have like your group of friends been like begging you to like break up with this person for a long time. Like they noticed that, or the people in your life or the people in person B's life noticed that like, this isn't going well. We're seeing how much this is doing to you, like how much energy and life this is sucking out of you. But you're like, no, like you guys just don't know them like I do. Like they have a lot of great things about them. Like you just don't know them. Like I think you tried to live in that for like a while and tried to kind of, you know, not make your friends and family see the good in them, but like you just weren't willing to give up on this person because of just how much you valued the good aspects of them. And like that's definitely admirable, like I said, but it was costing you because you're not being able to get what you need, and then the relationship becomes all about the other person, and like how things are going is just based on their different whims, you know. And so I know it was tough, but it was probably very much in your best interest for this relationship to end because you weren't getting what you needed. And it's very important that you get what you need and you make decisions that are in your best interest. And you being with this person, unfortunately, was just not in your best interest because it was just going to be you continuing to give and give and give and give. And like, again, that's a great aspect of yourself. Like it's very like, it's a good thing to be willing to nurture and love and like support other people, but not at the cost of your own self and your own feelings. You definitely compromised yourself so much in this relationship, and it's not what needed to happen. So like it's for the best that this breakup happened because you have the opportunity to find the person who's right for you, and this person is just not it. At least not at this point in the timeline. Okay, so then like, what can you kind of do to restore yourself? And we have the 10 of Pentacles here. And I really actually think that this is like referring to you, like take some stock of like all of the great aspects of yourself that are there. You know, you again have so much to bring to the table as like, I mean, that's what the 10 of Pentacles is all about, you know. You have so much to bring to the table. You have so much to offer. And I think that if you really just like took your energy away from this person and like kind of looked around to see, you would see that there's a lot more people around you who would be very much interested in you and very much like wanting to take you out, wanting to see if they have a chance with you. I think that you kind of had tunnel vision on maybe that one person, but there's a lot more opportunities with like connections with other people in your life and in like the realm of possibility for you. But I think it's you just like, it's like a matter of you wanting to dive in and like actually pay attention to these other people and these other things going on rather than you know, the person that you were last with, or whoever it is that you're thinking about as it relates to this breakup. Like I feel like there may be one person in particular, it could be multiple, but one person in particular, like they've been having their eye on you for a while. They have kind of like thought like, okay, I want a shot with you, I want a chance with you, but I need, like, it has to be waiting until like you get rid of this other person. So I think one of the ways that you can restore yourself is to get back out there and kind of let other people try to romance you and let them try to fight for your hand, you know, because I think you do have the potential for a lot of suitors. you know, or people who want to try to be with you. But if you're too focused on like this person who like unfortunately is just not in the time and space in their lives to be able to really give you what you need, you're not gonna be able to look at these other people and look at these other opportunities and see what else is really out there for you to kind of connect with and, you know, figure out what it is that, you know, you want. Or, you know, I think it's just time to date around, to experiment, to try this person, try that person, you know, really get into trying out, talking and dating other people and kind of seeing what actually would fill me up, what actually would I want out of a person, out of a relationship, you know? And again, like, you have to be willing to try so that you can find that once in a lifetime person, you know, the person that you're meant to be with, the person that the universe is going to have picked out for you. But if you're only ever looking in the direction of this person, you're not going to be able to see the other things that are around you. So just, you know, take that into consideration, because I think that you have the opportunity to be wooed by many different other people, but you're just not really maybe able to see it right now because of what you've been through, which makes perfect sense. So again, like, take your time and take your space and take your time to heal. But when you're ready, there's going to be people who are coming to knock on your door. So yeah, like, pay attention to that as you kind of step out of the energy of this person and kind of move into your own sense of self a little bit more. But okay. And then, so how can you prepare for your next relationship? And we have hidden depths here. And it says, something hidden is about to come to light, perhaps a secret or memory at the back of your mind. When we expose what's hidden, we can become free. So this is interesting, right? Because again, I think it's kind of connecting with this like 10 of Pentacles energy. You know, how can you prepare? Like, something hidden is about to come to light. So I like literally just picked up on the energy of a person who is interested in you that you either don't know about, haven't met, they could be coming in, or it's somebody who's already in your life, you know, who maybe like you're good friends with, but haven't really taken seriously as like a romantic partner. And like that, maybe it's them, you know? I think like it would be a good idea for you to, again, take some stock of like what's happening for you, and like what you actually want out of a partner, and getting more in touch with like that sense of knowing about yourself. And then I also think that as you're doing that, like, there are things in your environment that are going to kind of start popping up for you and coming to light, and you're going to start seeing like, oh, like, I never considered that, because, you know, now all of a sudden your energy or your awareness is going to be shifted away from only focusing on this person to focusing on what else you really have going on for yourself. And it's a lot, you know? So that's very interesting. I'm curious about what this is about, because I definitely think it has to do with like another potential romantic partner that you have not considered yet. And for a lot of you, I do feel like it has to do with somebody who's already in your life, who's kind of been like slowly watching and like, you know, biding their time, waiting for you to kind of let the dust settle with this other person so that they can actually approach. And when they know that, like, you know, you're kind of maybe ready to hop back out there or jump back in, you know, they're gonna make themselves known, and they're going to try to see if they have a chance with you. I think, you know, at least that's how I'm reading it, at least for some of you. And so maybe also too, like, if you think about it right now, like, is there a person who you feel like might be interested in you on the low, but just hasn't really come out and said it yet? Because if the person has come to mind, it's very possible that this is that person. But, you know, hey, we'll see. You know, don't, you know, take what I say to too much heart, because again, you have free will, you have free choice. Anything can happen. Oh gosh, my dog is doing the most. Okay. But anyways, yeah. So thank you so much, Pile 3, for joining me in this reading. If this reading did resonate with you, please consider liking this video or leaving me a comment and letting me know how this resonated. That really helps me and my growing channel. It also helps me be able to continue to make videos. Again, if you would like to stay tuned for readings in the future, then please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and that way you can stay tuned for future readings. But thank you so much, pile number 3, and I will see you guys in the next reading.